Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Cherika Brown. Of course, we're on another episode of Cherika Be Talking because I be talking. And today we're going to talk about the hot topic, the Druski skit. I was on TikTok and I saw the skit, whatever, and I was like, oh, so this is what everybody is talking about. Now, warning, in case you don't know, I am a Christian. I am a believer. I am not here to please you. I'm not here to please me. I'm here to step on your toes. I'm here to step on my toes and anybody else's toes that need to be stepped on. I could not care less about your opinion. What I care about is Bible and standing on Bible and things of that sort. The point of a comedian is to make an audience laugh. We know that by being relatable, exaggerating truths, and bringing light to serious situations. With that being said, did I laugh? Yes. Would I have participated in the skit itself, or would I have interacted with the post other than the view that I gave it? No. As an actress, I sometimes don't even accept certain roles because of my faith, my morals, and my values. What made the video funny was the truth within it. Almost everything that was done within the video were real life examples. And although the chances of the pastors being convicted are very slim, hopefully they are able to view the skit and see how they are the ones who are actually making a mockery of God. He did the example of shutting the doors on the church, the example of you had another pastor that said they were sending money to Africa, and you had another pastor that's up there flashy, wearing his old get up is always designer with everything showing. You don't have to do all of that as a pastor, like wearing labels every sermon or being some fashionista. You even have a pastor out there that dresses so feminine, like he be looking like somebody auntie, like up in a pulpit. It's a lot of pastors these days that are battling and dealing with spirits, and they have a wife for a cover up, but I can see straight through that, and a lot of y'all are just looking up to these people, and he called these people out, and because he called these people out, that is what caused the uproar, because a lot of y'all are really putting these people on a pedestal as if they are God themselves. There are parts of the skit where I wouldn't play so much. For example, I wouldn't shoot the scene in the actual church. Me personally, if I was the pastor of that church, I wouldn't even volunteer or book my church or rent it out for that particular reason. The cursing and the spitting on church grounds and just in general using God's name in vain. Personally, I had cousins and stuff growing up that they'll be, soon as they get out of church, they going to smoke them a blunt. Like they'll walk a few feet away and go and smoke, or you'll hear some people curse. And I always thought, like, why are you cursing on church grounds? Why are you? So it was some truth to what he was doing, but he was acting as if he was the pastor doing that on church grounds. And I was just like, ooh, there was a lot, but it was like, haha. I ain't gonna say I laughed at that part. I laughed at other parts, the parts that were actually true, but the parts that was just very exaggerated, I was like, I wouldn't have done that. But that's his skit. I don't know what Druski's beliefs are, but what I do know is I don't have a heaven or hell to put him in. So his choices are between him and God. That's his profession. The way that I view doing the skit like that is in a similar manner that I view some of my views and opinions on Black people. Some of my opinions on Black people, y'all would never hear on a Cherika Be Talking. I don't think the issues within the Black community is something I am comfortable expressing publicly, because it is not anyone's business outside the community, and I don't want to give other races the green light to talk about my people or open their minds to another perspective to kick them or talk about Black people. Because I genuinely care about Black people, I try to make the difference by interacting and expressing myself only within my community or in one-on-one interactions. I don't want to get on the internet and bash Black people how I may do it like in a family meeting to make my family better. I don't want to give people a perspective that I never even seen online, because other people will take that. It's almost as if you talk about one of your family members to an outsider, that person will feel like they had a green light to chime in and talk about them too. So as a devout Christian, I don't really want to, kick pastors and stuff out publicly and make a mockery of even the pastors, because I don't believe I can make a mockery of God. God can't be mocked. But I would rather, if I truly cared about the issue at hand, I would go to the pastor or message them and hopefully try to like get them some information or insight. But they wouldn't listen to me because them pastors, some of them not even true believers, it's sad to say. And at the end of the day, that's not Druski's job. He's a comedian. His job is just to make people laugh. And that's how he's taking it. Druski does skits for a living. It is the way he pays his bills. And he is not doing a skit in hopes of making a change within the church. Like, be for real. That's not his job description. The skit simply wasn't that deep to him. And again, that is between him and God. If he was wrong in any way, may God just forgive him and guide him. But also, if you attend the church of any other pastors whose actions gave him the ability to create content to make a mockery out of them, and you find yourself offended because the shoe fits, you need to ask yourself if you are idolizing your pastor, which is just a man, and you may need to consider finding yourself a new church home. Using the skit as a chance and opportunity for you to get right with God instead of being offended. Maybe that's your warning that God is sending you, like, hey, you're going down the wrong path or you're following the wrong leader. You may need to switch up your routine or switch up what you're doing or your way of worship. Figure out your role in the church and how to prove his skits wrong instead of trying to determine his fate or whether he's going to heaven or hell or if he was right or wrong. God will deal with him and you and whoever else however he sees fit. It's not for you to judge or decide about. If you thought it was funny, ha ha, he, life goes on. May God forgive me for the parts that I did laugh at. But y'all get too deep into it because the real issue is that y'all are idolizing y'all pastors and y'all mad that he called them out when they need to be called out. And hopefully, I hope they are convicted and see that they gave him the ability to create the content that he was able to successfully create and get through to a lot of people with. So now people or other faiths can look at us and laugh and say, oh, they such a joke, like they always think. And people hated on Jesus, so of course they gonna hate on us as fellow believers. And like I said, I'm not here to say, oh, he was completely right and y'all ain't got no sense of humor, because I'm not here to please y'all. Like I said, I laughed at some parts and other parts I was just like, he got to answer to God. Y'all almost forgot our verse of the day. Our verse of the day is Jeremiah 31:28. It reads, just as I watched over them to uproot and tear down and to overthrow, destroy and bring disaster, so I will watch over them to build and to plant, declares the Lord. Jeremiah 31:28. This is a good one for today because this shows God's justice and mercy working together. It reminds us that God's discipline is not arbitrary or cruel. It has a purpose, y'all. Even when his people fail, he doesn't abandon them, but works to restore them. And this could be tied back to the Druski skit because with so much backlash that he's receiving about the church, if he is a believer, like I said, I don't know his beliefs, it could convict him to in some way, like, dang, you know, maybe it'll change his path in life or his trajectory or him just reading. If he is the type of person or content creator that read his comments, maybe he will read his comments and actually gain insight from it. So you never know. Like, it could have been done and we had to go through that together as the Christian community for, you know, to bring him closer to God and to bring some of you back closer to God and to bring y'all down to reality and also to humble some of y'all pastors and leaders and remind y'all that God is faithful and he, even when his people fail, he doesn't abandon us, but he works to restore us. So again, that's Jeremiah 31:28. Y'all know I'll be back because I'll be talking. Peace.